Hi, I'm violinist Chee-Yun. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Being in LA and playing with all these great violinists and playing on one of the greatest Stradivarius around was a tremendous honor. LACO, which is LA Chamber Orchestra, had this brilliant idea of doing a series of fundraising concerts, displaying 8 different strats, and so they called it Strat Fest in LA, and it was a real big honor to be part of it, and then to be able to play on one of the greatest strats, which I got to play on a Leonora Jackson Strat, and that was just spectacularly beautiful. And I can't wait to play it again. In fact, I'm playing it again on August 14th this year at Disney Hall. And so I could hardly wait. Well, my violin is very, very, very special. It's a beautiful old Italian instrument made by a very fine maker, Francesco Ruggeri, in 1669. So this is 2014. Do the math, I think, is it right? 345 years old. And the back of it, as you could see, it's gorgeous. Two pieces, perfect. No visible major cracks. I came across this violin when I was a sophomore in college at Juilliard, and at the time, of course, I was a starving artist and had just won the Young Concert Artists International auditions, and I just had begun concertizing, so I had zero money. And but any amount of money that I made from playing concerts went into paying for this violin, and I was very lucky to have a very generous patron who gave me basically interest-free loan, so I paid her back slowly. And now it's mine, and I love it. It's one of the best instruments, best violins, if not the best, since I have it all the time. And everybody comes up to me after all the concerts, every concert, really, literally every concert, and all the orchestras that I've worked with, played with, the orchestra members will be coming up to me and saying, "Tell me about your violin. Is it a Strat? Is it a Del Gesù?" And I said, "No, it's Francesco Ruggeri." They're like, "Wow, it's gorgeous." And over the years, people have come up to me and asked me if it's the same violin. In fact, I just played a recital at JCC here at JCC, GW, and one of my very, very good friends, and I actually call her my DC mom, she was like, "Are you still playing on the same instrument? Because your sound has changed." And the last time she heard me was here on this stage about 1.5 years ago. So we're just getting to know each other even better, and I guess we're just, really gelling. And my violin is wonderful, and I'm with it all the time. Well, first of all, I find that Brahms Violin Concerto, along with Beethoven Violin Concerto too, that it's a masterwork. Not only that, but it just takes a lot of maturity, and I personally didn't think that I was mature enough to do justice for such great repertoire of music, and I was afraid to represent it wrong. And when I first played it, and I was very nervous about it, and I don't think it was my best performance yet, of course. But every time I perform it, I just fall in love with it even more. And every time I practice it, in fact, I actually don't even feel the time go by, time pass, because there's just more you know. It's Brahms, just like any other great composer's works, is the more you know, the more you realize you really don't know. And it just makes you really humble, and I'm extremely honored every time I get to play his music. And his violin concerto is one of the reasons that I decided that I needed to know a lot of his chamber music, a lot of other works, even his symphonies, and very importantly, his songs. And before knowing them and before really studying them and before talking to different musicians about them, I didn't think that I would be able to really express fully what Brahms had intended, or even have an idea of what he had intended. Of course, I wish that I could talk to him, but I'm a few hundred years behind. My students are absolute joy in my life, and I don't have children of my own, and yet I love children in general. And I feel very lucky, and knock on wood, I have really amazingly beautiful students, and past and present. So they've been teaching me more than I've taught them, I think. And through them, I discover the beauty of music. Through them, I realize how passionate I am about music. Through them, I fall in love with music all over again every day. So I am extremely grateful to them, and I'm so happy that they take or choose me as their teacher. People do ask me, you know, how do you juggle your career as a concert violinist, and do you get to teach your students, or do you leave them for weeks at a time? The answer is no. I don't leave them weeks at a time. The longest time that I would not see my students will be 2 weeks, and that rarely happens. And I can control where I go, or I could control my schedule now. So, and plus, I don't teach too many students. So the students that I do have in my studio get a lot of attention. And I think they could probably tell you the same thing, that I do not leave them alone too much. Well, mostly because I really like them, really, honestly, and I like spending time with them, and they keep me on my toes. Well, thank you so much for being interested in my fan page on Facebook, and as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I hope you enjoy my videos. Thank you.